bitches.
Just like that.
Welcome to Between Two Geese.
With a bunch of my geese.
My gays.
My guy. Sam, what were you talking about? A book you were just been reading? And
Yeah, get right into it.
Talking with Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. Got it on an audiobook, so I can't say I'm reading it. But
That makes sense.
I don't know how to do that. I'm a couple chapters in, and the first, the introduction is about Sandra Bland. Now, Sandra Bland was driving, I think it was somewhere in Texas, where a cop turns on his lights behind her, so she pulls over to the side. He says he pulled her over for failure to signal. Now, most people, I guess, I don't know how many people will actually put their turn signal on when a cop is pulling them over. They just go on over. Anyway, he tells her to, get out of the car. She is a little bit resistant to it. They're having an argument, so she lights a cigarette. He tells her to put the cigarette out. She says, "I'm in my car. I can be smoking a cigarette." A lot of people would argue that was to de-escalate the situation. Having a cigarette is, breathing is implied there. Anyway, pulls his taser out on her. Whole thing happens. He very forcefully arrests her, takes her to jail, again, for initially failing to signal, and she, 3 days later, commits suicide. So, a life was taken there. This kind of touches a lot on the Black Lives Matter movement and how it feels like blacks are being targeted unfairly by the police.
Okay, so she was black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry.
Just to clarify that.
Yeah. The black woman.
Cool.
He uses another example of Hernan Cortez and Montezuma, one of the Aztec rulers. So Hernan Cortez gets there, meets Montezuma. I'll save you the details of it, but because neither of them spoke the same language, Hernan Cortez thought that Montezuma was willingly surrendering the entire city. I can't pronounce the name, but Teteclan or something like that. Sorry. It resulted in one of the bloodiest battles in history. Malcolm Gladwell's point in this book is that if communication was more effective and more empathetic, then so much more death and I guess unpleasantness can be avoided. So he talks about if you're just kind to people, it's just better. My question is, what is it that drives us to be kind? What is it that drives us to have this trope, love everybody? Because not everybody loves everybody. And not everybody should. I don't think everybody should, quote unquote, love everybody. There are people who you just fundamentally don't get along with. And so let's talk about that. Why do you think love everybody is an important thing?
well,
If you do.
I want to back it up just for a quick second. I want to gather what the purpose of his points are in that. He's saying if kindness were implemented and they were empathetic with their communication, both of those scenarios could have had different outcomes.
Yes.
Is that the point of those stories and what point he's driving home with those?
Maybe not even kindness specifically, but patience, right? If that cop understood that she was smoking a cigarette, not to be rebellious, but to de-escalate.
Well, what's that mean? I don't get that part. How do you smoke a cigarette to de-escalate?
It was, man, people, when you smoke a cigarette, it's not because you're trying to get hype. Most people smoke cigarettes
To calm down.
to calm down.
Okay.
Yeah. If he was to have understood that, I think that he would not have seen this as another aspect of rebellion or resistance. I think he would have seen it as like, okay, she's rattled right now.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, so it's empathetic communication.
Yes. Understanding, I think, is the root of all of this. I'm
Right.
probably not doing a great job of explaining Gladwell's point or what I think his point is, but
It's fine. I mean, I've read a previous book of his, Outliers, and he does this. He goes through a lot of stories, and he tells stories throughout history and throughout time to illustrate an overarching point of the book. So he's actually pretty good for that. I kind of like some of the stuff for that.
dude, yeah, I wish.
So you're pivoting that off of into the kindness question.
Yeah, so if we understand each other, we're more able to be kind. We're more able to meet each other's needs.
Yep.
I see the whole point, right? Like, well, kindness prevents death, right? But like, take it a step back. Even if it's just like you ruin somebody's day, not that I don't care. Not that I don't care if I ruin somebody's day, because I really do. I like to be nice. But why should people care if you just like, if you say fuck you to a stranger?
What's the counter argument that you should? I don't get it.
It's a movement. It's a movement that we have. We're
What do you mean, people being intentionally rude?
no people being intentionally kind. So we're taught like, look, be
Yes.
kind.
Yes.
You know, smile.
If you don't have anything
Right.
nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Etiquette and
Right.
manners is something that's taught in every culture.
Right.
When you learn a different language, what's one of the first words you learn? Is thank you.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Mhm.
kindness. It's appreciation, gratitude.
And you're saying why?
Yeah. I'm asking, why is this a human thing? Why do we need to do this?
It's necessary for the evolution of our human race, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Without kindness, there is no community. Without community, there is no procreation. Without procreation, there is no continued existence. In a very caveman way, right? That in its very base, that's the reason kindness, I think, is necessary. So we're just being assholes to each other, then we've seen that. We've seen that what that happens in like developing countries that have like there's no empathy to anyone. Like fuck
Yeah.
that, murder these kids, go to this village and you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
there's zero give a shit for anybody. And what happens with those? They just become war torn apart countries that kind of never recover. So there's perfect examples of it, I think, of the opposite of what happens when you take it away.
So here's my counter argument: is
Yeah.
that we are still tribal. Like,
Yep.
we've needed separation to survive. Like,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, hate brings us together in a lot of ways. I use the example of sports fanatics, right? You
Yep.
meet someone
My
who's
mind was
like,
going there too.
exactly. You can see someone like I don't really care for any teams. I'm not a sports guy, but seeing someone in a UGA shirt and then seeing somebody in an Alabama shirt, for example, it's really easy for either one of those people to have never met and then just be like, "Man, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this dude, whatever." Any one of that person's actions, like that person could be behaving exactly like, I don't know, your fucking dad. And you could love your dad, but that guy does the annoying thing. He's like, man, I fucking hate when that guy talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely a thing. I think politics is the same way too.
Politics,
It's
oh
a
my
team
God,
sport.
yeah. It
Like,
is a team sport.
people getting, maced for wearing like a Make America Great Again hat or something.
Right.
Or even a hat that's just that color. It's like, yeah, they might think that. Or same thing on the other side, like you see people like with the coexist stickers on the back, and you can see people being like, oh man, like
Yeah, fucking hippies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I think
we're
that
tribal.
goes both ways.
We're tribal people. We have to be attached to something. We do it every fucking aspect of everything. Anybody that takes pride in something, it's because they identify as being a part of something. We do it as patriots. Oh, our country, God bless America, right? Because
Yeah.
God gives a fuck about imaginary lines that we drew on the earth.
Dude.
But apparently that's a big deal. But it's a big deal because we have an innate need to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And it might not be a part of other humans, because there are people that are isolationists, but they're a part of something. There's something that we have to attach to our identity.
Yep.
And we do that, so.
By nature, being a part of something sets us apart from something
Yes.
else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're part of it whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And then the anti-culture is a culture of itself. And so, yeah, I think
Yes.
kindness is a pathway to being a part of something. And doesn't mean your kindness across the board, but it's kindness to my team. And we have multiple my teams. But if I'm across the country, across the world, on the other side of the world, and I'm in like some small ass fucking village or in some trouble, and someone sees that I'm an American and they're an American, they somehow look out for me.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing, but it exists. And it's the same reason when we hear about like some traumatic thing that happened anywhere else in the world, the news will report how many Americans died in it.
Yeah.
There'd be thousands of individuals that have died, and 2 Americans, da, da, da. And then the local news will report how many Georgians were affected.
Yeah.
Because local, like we are tribal in the fact that we're part of this human race. Then we're tribal in our own individual race. We're tribal in our own religions, about the country we live in, the state we live in, the town we live in.
Yeah.
We can be tribal about our neighborhoods. There's a great rapper called Kanan. He's a Somali rapper.
Yep.
And he's got a song called Tribal War, and it's him and Damian Marley, which is a fucking awesome song because Damian Marley's incredible.
Yeah.
And he talks about how they make us fight country to country, and then village to village, and then tribe to tribe, and then it's brother to brother, and like we are tribal all the way to its core. So even within our family, we're tribal.
Yeah.
But it's and not or. It's not or these other tribes, it's and these other tribes. We are part of this country, but we're also a part of this state, and we're also a part of this county, a part of this neighborhood, a part of this house, a part of this family, a part of this generation. Like we identify with being parts of many, many, many things, whether we can admit it consciously or not.
Sure.
And our kindness is our acceptance in those, and we're kind within those pockets.
So it's intercommunal kindness. It's or intertribal kindness.
It's it is for longevity and survival in a very subconscious way,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
No, I totally think it's true. It's funny because like earlier when I said like I don't think you need to love everybody, right?
Yep.
To elaborate on that, I do think there are some people who just have it in for you, and if you don't really loving that person, I think means at least for the most part interacting with them.
Yeah.
Cutting that person out of your life is neither loving nor hating.
Mm-hmm. It's indifference.
It's indifference, right? And I think that's a necessary thing, man. I remember this my dad ran for city politics in Snellville, right? And there was, he was a part of one group, these other people were part of another group. And when he got the seat on the city council, during the ceremony or whatever, the opposing group, and we all know who it was, like we knew these people, they went on Google Translate and typed in, "This is for the terrorist member of Al-Qaeda," or something like that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Only my dad could read it. And it was a very intentional move for them to troll him or to be hurtful to him or whatever. Yeah. But I made up in my mind, like, that person doesn't need love from me. That person needs nothing from me.
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue, like, kill them with kindness or whatever, but, like, at that moment, especially, I did not have the emotional capacity to treat them kindly, to treat them with love.
There's some people you gotta say, fuck those people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easy to say fuck those people when they're not part of your tribe and a part of the thing that you've identified that you're a part of. Because it's hard to do that. You usually be like, look, I know Uncle so-and-so said some crazy things, but he means well. Right. That's our attempt to keep them as a part of our thing and part of our team. But the minute we get sick of them and we pull the jersey up, like, you're not part of the team anymore. You know why? Because fuck you. Because you do these things, this thing, and this thing. And therefore, you're part of everyone else that either I dislike or I'm indifferent about. And I'm indifferent about, there's people in China that die every single day from crime, and I have no clue. It doesn't affect me either way. It doesn't mean I hate anyone from China. It means I just don't know who they are, and I'm indifferent. There are 7+ billion people in this world, and in my opinion, there's an efficiency of energy where I have no capacity to want to hate someone. I would rather you file under the indifference world of the other 7 billion people that I'll likely never meet and never interact with ever again.
Makes sense.
That is key. I think the energy thing is like, you could be a bleeding heart and give a shit about everybody, but then you have to look into the logistics about that. Because like, as soon as you start caring about one person more, then
there's an imbalance.
There's an imbalance, and you begin to settle that feel that that's unfair or whatever. And then you have to keep doing these overcorrections and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to any of this.
Yeah. I even think too, like, just the saying, like, bleeding heart, like, that already doesn't sound healthy, right? like just in the name, but I think like giving that much of your time, like just constantly pouring everything you have into everybody else all the time isn't good for you either, you know, because then it's like if you're always having to like drain yourself and bend over backwards for this person and do this, like some of that's good, but you also need to like focus on yourself too a little bit more instead of like always pouring. I'm not saying that there's not a time for that, but those people that do that constantly like seem exhausted and stressed because they have to help out like all these people that they've agreed to helping and supporting, and it just gets like too exhausting because they're pulled in too many directions. If that makes sense.
You have my favorite metaphor for that is when you're if you're going on if you're riding on a plane, flying on a plane that's going down, and somebody needs help putting on their oxygen mask, you don't help them first. You need to put yours on first.
Yeah.
You need to take care of yourself first and make sure you're right before you go on helping other people. I mean, the jiu-jitsu analogy, like if you see somebody struggling with a move, you need to learn that fucking move first.
Right.
Don't shoot guesses at them.
You learn the counter for that move, and you make them pay for it. No, I'm just kidding.
Close guard but from
Yes.
the back. But yeah, it's a lot like that, and I honestly really still like struggle with it. I don't know the answer to it. You know, I think if our society did just constantly treat each other with love and unconditional love, I don't know what that looks like. You know, maybe if like that ends up being more powerful than what I feel like is the gravity of like selfishness, you know, or anything like that, then that would be a cool way to make things happen. I don't think I have faith in people like that.
No, I don't think people would ever do it outside of a theoretical world.
What's the old
Yeah.
Gandhi line that if you want to change the world, change yourself? That's
Yeah.
all it is. I think it's stupid to think and it's some overwhelming, overarching thing of like, oh, we're gonna change the world. It's like, no, I'm gonna change me. I'm gonna change how I treat people because I am in control of that and how I react to people, how I act around people, and how I treat people in or outside of my circle is a reflection of who I am as a person. And I personally, as a person, don't feel comfortable treating people like dog shit or making people feel terrible, whether they're in my circle or not. I'm a walking example of this because I will literally go to football games where I'm a guest at the opposing team's thing, go to Falcons games, I'm a Saints foot, and I'll clown with the guys that are on the other team. I have no ill intent, there's no hate with that, or malice with it, because I enjoy the banter. However, I'm in control of that. I can be serious and fight the guys and be like, oh, fuck you, you can curse out kids, and I can go that route, right? But I am in control of me. I'm not in control of how the world works. I'm not in control of how people react and all that. I can influence people, but not by fucking talking about it. I can just influence them with my actions and hope that my positivity spins off on someone else and and it spreads that way. That is what kind of Gandhi meant by to change the world, change yourself. And I'm assuming I'm even quoting him right. But that's what I really believe in. Now with the negativity and all that shit, like I've always said that somebody gave me this line before, like someone's being negative to you, like they're not being kind, they're being unkind. It is like a gift. If you give me a gift and I refuse to take it, the gift doesn't belong to me. It still belongs to you. So unkindness and kindness are equal in that they have to be accepted. You're giving something to someone. And if they don't accept it, if they don't accept your kindness either, you can be like, all right, well, fuck off. I'll keep that to myself.
Yeah, I think so. Another thing to address it is hatefulness, right? So that we talked about love, and I think because we're not talking about hate, it's assumed that, like, well, it's okay to be hateful. But I think hate is probably one of the more detrimental things to yourself, right? There's that Buddhist saying, hate is like holding onto hot coals and expecting somebody else to be burned by it, right? It only does it for you. It's heavy on you.
Yep.
I think a lot of the time, like, healthy indifference is kind of the move, right?
Healthy indifference?
Yeah, healthy indifference is...
I don't know. I think it is. I 100% gravitate towards healthy indifference, or probably just indifference. I don't know that it is fully healthy. I believe there's probably some balance between you should have a passionate love for some things, and you should have a passionate hate for some things. I don't have an indifference towards pedophiles. right?
So that's
Yeah.
a good point.
I have a healthy
Man, that's a really good
fucking
point.
hate, or sexual assault people. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have a healthy indifference for those people. So I can't say that I'm fully indifferent. And I believe I am towards a lot of things to protect my own emotional state, like people that maybe have hurt me in my life or whatever. I erase them from life and they become just, I'm indifferent about them. But I would be lying if I said that that was the full path, right?
Right.
So do you guys believe? So this is an awesome question. I love that you brought that example up. So do you believe that any person committing a single offense,
Defines them.
basically, does that damn them? Is there
Like,
a
it
single
shouldn't, but it
damnable
can.
action? Okay.
It
Yeah.
likely should not, but it will, because
Okay.
Yeah.
I can admit that I'm equally flawed, and I
Right.
will, and you're forever that person to me.
Yep.
It likely shouldn't, because good people do bad things.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a
But
big
then
question.
it taps into are there unforgivable bad things? Is the next question.
Yeah, I think that varies per person too, because for some
Yeah.
people,
We're
like
talking
certain
about beauty at
things,
this point.
yeah, certain things are going to be more offensive to them. Certain things aren't. Like it just depends.
Man, yeah. I mean, the other question is, what would make a horrible thing redeemable?
The death
I mean-
penalty. I'm just kidding.
That's the reason our correctional facilities existed in the first place, is
Right.
to pay your debts to society, right?
That doesn't work.
Yeah, it was an
Right.
attempt at making it redeemable.
Yeah.
But I don't think there are some redeemable. But again, it's personal preference. There might be somebody be like, that's what he did in the past. Like, speaking of pedophilia, right? That's what he did in the
Yeah.
past. He served his time. He's going to seek help. He's better now. I accept him back into
Yeah.
my circle of family or friends or work environment.
Sure, yeah.
But their decision wouldn't be my decision.
Yeah.
I would look at him and unfortunately, I believe it's flawed. I know it's flawed internally for myself.
Yeah.
That I would be like, no, that's just who you are for life. And I think that's shitty because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me if I, maybe I got caught stealing or something. They would be like, well, that's who you are for life, Sean. You're a stealer.
Right.
Like, well, fuck no, I did this one thing but I just think that there are.
You're not a stealer. You're a saint.
But no, I mean. Oh Jesus, that was terrible.
That was
That was
so
actually
bad.
really good.
That was.
It was terrible at first. Terrible guy to miss.
Oh,
2 levels.
I was like, I am a Sam, I'm a pretty good person. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
football. So it would suck. It would suck to have that label for your whole life. But then you have to, as an individual, this is very individualized. Like, this isn't across the board thing. As an individual, you'd have to say, what are permanent damage categories for me?
Yeah.
And if you don't have any, that's cool. You could be a I don't have any. You could kill people and you still be redeemable, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know.
I think it's exactly what you said, that everybody kind of has like their own personal choice. Because like even with some things, like if it's a family and one person in that family does some sort of like heinous crime or whatever,
Right.
then like certain members of the family might be like, okay, cool, like once they've done their time, done their sentence, whatever, they accept them back in. And then there's some family members that are like, nope, I don't want to talk to you, and that's still within that person's own family.
Yeah, you think
So
about
I think it's
people that beat
it's a personal
dogs
thing.
or abused animals. To
Right.
me, I'm
Right.
not an animal person, so I'm indifferent. Like, I'm like, that's a pretty shitty thing to do, bro. Like, you're a piece of shit. But I don't give a fuck enough
Right.
that I'm like on the level at some people. To the other side of the spectrum, others will be like, that guy deserves the death penalty.
Right,
He
yeah.
needs to be drowned just like he drowned those dogs, or whatever the thing was, right? And it's like, what the fuck? To me, I'm like, damn, that's a little harsh, but it is
Yeah.
individualized. It's like, people will never forgive Mike Vick, ever.
Right? No, he's forever. Gonna
I
be
didn't
known
like
as-
him as a football player because I was an opposing team's
Right.
fan, and even I'm just like, yeah, but it's dogs. Like, to me, like, I don't value it the same way that other people do, and that's okay. But it's a perfect example of how it is very individualized. What becomes an irredeemable mistake or an irredeemable flaw and a redeemable one. So I don't know the answer to that. It has to be individualized.
It has to be.
So how do you build a society around that? Vote.
Well, right now, no, not even anymore. Because right now, like, and this is probably the thing that's happening in at least American culture. We're fucking huge. Our country is massive, We're highly populated, 360 plus million people. Very divided on a lot of issues, and
Right.
not even a little divided, like spectrum.
Yeah.
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 And there's like, if you go to the end of one, then you are drastically hated by another, and vice versa. And I don't know, like, is the truth really that there are more people in the middle, and these are just the loud ones in a smaller group at the end, or what?
I think the truth is we're all in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that the big hoax is that there is no middle choice. There's only two choices, and they're on these ends with the loud ones.
Yeah.
So we come to the stage like, where I fall like here, but all right, I'm gonna go over this side, and we feel forced to run to a side. And when you really talk to people, everyone's about the middle. Everyone, fucking everyone realizes a lot of the loud noises are ridiculous.
Yep.
The grand hoax of America is that there are only two choices, and that just doesn't stick to just politicians who are red and blue, but it sticks to decisions in life and like moral convictions and like just where I stand on this statement, right?
Right.
Where a lot of us are in the middle because we realize it's all gray. When you really get in a conversation with someone, you realize it's all gray, and the big hoax is there is no gray. You got to choose, dog. It's black or it's white. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Is it all lives matter or blue lives matter or no? Is it blue lives all lives matter or black lives matter? And that's it. You don't get to say, well, kind of like, yeah, their lives matter too, but there's a big plight over here, and you guys are both a little right and a little wrong all at the same time. There's no choice for that. There's only the choice of one or the other, bitch. You're either taking all the guns away, or we need to have guns on top of guns, right?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Arm the
It's like,
kindergartners.
what? Yeah, armed kindergartners and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking the kindergartners or something. Remember that? From This Is America?
Yeah, Who is America?
Who is America?
Yeah, dude.
It's fucking good.
You gotta watch that
Sacha
show.
Baron Cohen is so good.
And
So, we get in this world where it's like, no, you don't, the two loud noises are arguing, and they get pissed when you fence it. Oh, fuck you gotta choose. It's like, man, no, fuck both of you guys. And unfortunately, there's no loud voice saying fuck both of you guys that's dominant out there.
No.
Because that doesn't sell shit. It doesn't sell jerseys.
No.
You don't sell jerseys saying, hey, I'm going to go into the game because I want to see a good football game. There's no, I want to see a good football game jersey. There's, I want to see my guys whoop your guys' ass jersey, and I want to see my guys whoop your ass jersey.
Yeah.
And that's fucking it. And the bottom line is, what sells is what leads all across the board.
and especially in the sports thing, what people don't get is that, like, if both teams added their points together, they would just.
Yeah. They got along, too.
Well,
I hope
Yeah.
both sides win.
yeah, there you go.
Really, though, all this ties back into kind of the beginning of this, right? Is each side believes that they're right, and each side communicates it horrendously.
Yep. They're the two characters. What are the two you were just saying?
Yeah, Sandra Bland and the cop, or
No,
not
the other
Cortez and Montezuma.
That one.
Yeah.
That
Because
one.
they speak different languages.
Yes,
Yes.
they do.
And what happens? Just people, we crumble, right? We die as a society in our pure nature, right? We die like the conversation dies, the things die, right? In that scenario, people died. This scenario, the conversation dies, relations die. Like there's deaths in the society tribal
Dude,
thing.
people don't talk to their fucking families over shit like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. There's
Yeah.
Be
I was about to
kind,
cut off
assholes.
anyways.
communication is hard.
Yeah, and no pedophiles. Just get weird.
What's the weird we're going to? We're going to Reddit? Are we in Reddit world?
Yeah, I don't think it's super weird. I think
Oh.
these are, just a little ridiculous. So, Ask Reddit, a thread from 6 days ago was, what are some ridiculous history facts?
That's right. Yep.
And this top one was, it's very eerie, very uncanny. Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln, was present at 3 different presidential assassinations.
That's wild.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, and if you don't know, that's his dad, Abraham Lincoln, then Andrew Garfield, and then McKinley, whatever his first name is.
It's what.
William McKinley. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty neat.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Needs to be a suspect at that point.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that'd be weird to just see 3 different presidents die. And one, I mean, obviously one of them's your dad, so it's actually
Yeah, well, that's gonna
traumatic.
fuck you up. One of my favorite icebreakers, like if there's an awkward silence, of course, Mr. Punaway came up with this one, or at least he introduced me to it. He probably didn't make it up, but he goes. So, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you enjoy the play?
Yes.
Nice.
He did actually. He stopped accepting invitations. Well, Robert Todd Lincoln. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm not going out anymore." He's like, "Motherfuckers are dying."
Makes sense. I mean, if I was president and I saw him there, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
but
nope,
get that
nope,
kid
nope,
the
nope.
fuck out of here.
Yeah. I wouldn't invite him.
Yeah.
I haven't read this one yet. 101 years ago, a massive tank of molasses burst open in Boston, causing a sticky wave that killed 21 people and injured well over 100.
What?
It was called, there's a name for it, the Great Molasses Flood, and it spread at about 35 miles an hour. So you couldn't run away from it. That's crazy.
The Great Molasses Flood.
That's
Jesus.
terrifying.
Yeah.
That sounds. What year was this?
101 years ago. So
Yeah, it
was
sounds
like
ancient.
18,
Yeah.
1819.
Remember that?
Was that right?
No,
No.
being 1919.
1919. Well, sorry, guys.
Remember the Great Molasses Flood of 1900?
Yeah, but that's like not super long ago. Like over all of history, that's like just after World War One. Yeah.
Yeah, that's but
Right
that,
after
that fits the
World War I.
time. That's when motherfuckers were sitting on like poles and stuff as like entertainment.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
That's when jazz was invented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the Great Molasses
Of course
Flood
it
though. Well, what a shitty way to die. Just like
Yeah.
drowning in maple syrup.
Very slow way to die, too.
It's
No,
like it catches up to you.
no.
Like at first, you're probably like, "Oh, like this is awesome." And you're like eating a little bit of it, and then it's just like slowly.
Well, the irony of this all is that it spread at 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Which is crazy too.
Molasses.
Yeah.
So when someone says you're being slow as molasses, there you go.
Say not today.
Not the one of 1919.
Right.
That's the best comeback for that. Yeah, I am as slow as molasses. From 1919, the Great Molasses Flood.
Yeah, go look it up.
Yeah,
Nerds.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
I like
What
that.
else you got?
The first known, this is cool. The first known political cartoon is Egyptian, and it shows, I don't know how to say his name, Hatshepsut, the only woman pharaoh, pegging her lover and chief architect, Senmut.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell
We're
yeah.
gonna carve into a fucking pyramid, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. I guess it was a hieroglyph. So basically, like, that was their, like, oh yeah, she's a woman, she's more powerful than you, so she bangs you.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
alpha.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe they were into pegging back in Egyptian times.
Egyptians were wild.
Oh yeah.
They were into some crazy shit.
Oh dude, yeah, they fucking took out your brain through your nose when you were
Yeah.
dead. Yeah.
Fucking aliens, man.
Yep.
Aliens.
Apparently, there's a children's book called The Pharaoh's Secret that kind of touches on this, which is pretty
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
It's a children's book.
It sounds creepy.
Oh,
The
this
Pharaoh's
is fucking
Secret.
crazy. So, 2 parts.
Okay.
In 1895, the entire state of Ohio only had 2 cars, and both of those cars somehow managed to smash into each other.
So, Ohio's first car accident.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
I mean, it just proves that
the
people
odds are
always-
super low and high at the same time, you would think.
Yeah, I would say the odds of getting into an accident in your car would probably be higher because they were like, you know, not as sophisticated as today. But the odds of running into the only other car in the state, they're not great. Unless they were owned by like similar
They're
people.
probably nearby, yeah.
Yeah.
They were neighbors.
But still,
This is the Joneses trying to fuck shit up.
this proves people have always been shitty drivers.
Former President Andrew Jackson was approached by a man who pulled a gun on him. Smaller history fact was this was the first assassination attempt on the U.S. president. The man pulled the trigger and the cat went off, but the gunpowder failed to light. The man pulled a second gun and fired, but the gunpowder again failed to light. The assassin tried to get away, but not before Andrew Jackson got him and beat the shit out of him with a cane. That sounds like Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, motherfucker was a savage, dude.
Yeah.
He's very controversial. I'm not really a fan. Karl Marx's great-great-grandson has a YouTube video of him doing parkour called exclamation marks. That's good.
I like it.
Well, good for that guy.
So many question marks.
Yikes.
I don't even know what this country is. The entire country of Malta was awarded the George Cross for its effort in World War II. It's still on their flag. I've never
I know
heard of
Malta.
Malta. You
Yeah.
know where it is? Where is
Yeah,
that?
it's in the Mediterranean.
Is it?
Mhm.
That's awesome.
I used to play this game when I was bored at work. That they would show you the shapes of countries, and you were timed. And you had to guess the country for each one, and that's how I learned Malta.
Malta was one of them. What's their language?
Maltese.
I was like, don't say Maltese.
Yeah.
Woof, woof.
Their national bird is the falcon.
Yeah. It's either near. Oh, yikes. It's either near like Italy or Greece. It's in one of those. But yeah. Side note: have y'all ever heard about the Battle of Crete?
Crete.
Crete.
C-R-E-T-E.
Yeah, it's a Greek island. So in World War II, there was like two islands that are kind of close to each other, Malta and then Crete. I was just listening to a podcast about this the other day, and they talked about like the Nazis had Malta at the time and were using it as like an air base basically for like Africa and all this stuff. And then they went to attack Crete. They had already taken over the rest of Greece, and there was some like British and Australian soldiers, but not that many. And so Hitler was like, oh yeah, like, we'll be able to take this over, no problem, like, whatever. And they sent these paratroopers in, and in the first day, it was like 6,000 Germans died. They had no guns on the island, and it was literally like old people and like kids, as the paratroopers are falling, like running out into fields with pitchforks and like fucking killing these guys as
Nice.
they're landing.
Get out of
It was
town.
wild.
Savages, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Battle of Crete.
Good for these guys.
Useless history fact for the day.
Oh, it's very clearly useful. We're filming this.
Purge. Purge.
Yeah.
So this one is potatoes were not very popular as food in France. Like they were seen as fit only for animals. Not only that, but they were considered generally not digestible by humans. So a pharmacist named Parmentier knew they were good food and wanted to popularize them among the working class. So he got a 2-acre farm to grow potatoes and placed armed guards around at it at all times. People assumed the guards meant something very valuable was growing there, so they began to steal the potatoes. And that's how they became popular in France's working class.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there are no sources
weird.
cited, but I'm just going to go ahead and believe it for entertainment value.
French fries.
Yeah, there it is.
Did the French actually invent that?
Probably not.
I would assume it's like the same with French toast.
Remember how ridiculous it was after
was just about to bring
Iraqi
this up.
war where we're calling it the freedom fries?
I was just about to
How
bring
fucking
this.
stupid were we? I didn't play along with that, but as a culture,
No.
how dumb were we?
Yeah, I thought that. I honestly thought that was like a fever dream of mine because like
Yeah.
everybody forgot about it. I have
Yeah.
not heard about that since.
The whole country was doing that. Like we
Yeah.
had politicians calling them freedom fries.
Yeah, and then
Can you shut the fuck? Just because they didn't support us in the war, in Iraq.
Yeah.
oh yeah, don't open that door.
Yeah.
Huh?
So don't open that door.
Yeah.
I love. There was another one. Remember what they called French kissing?
Mm-mm. Freedom kissing?
Liberty kissing.
Yeah. They were doing gay ass like fucking stupid
Liberty kissing.
fucking.
I'm assuming it was probably something gay like freedom toast too, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
What,
What they
I
called
don't
French
remember.
toast.
Definitely, I just remember freedom.
Freedom fries.
We just
I've
didn't
heard
need
that.
it. Of course.
They're like
Liberty
the lunches at
kissing?
school were talking about freedom fries and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up and give me some
So
fries.
weird.
That's
Yeah.
again the team shit.
Yeah.
You know? Oh,
Oh
I
man.
hate that.
I remember very specifically where I was. Like I was in I think middle school. Or I was in middle school. I was in line to go to lunch, and then one of my friends was telling me about that.
It's like, where were you when the freedom fries came?
Yes, it was such a it was a good blip, and it's just a blip on the map in our timeline of life. But it was such an example of how ridiculous we can be in any one moment.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we look back and we can say, oh, well, that was dumb. We don't do that anymore. We're above that. But it's like, man, like, you had this one moment of like idiocracy, and we have them all over the place, but it is a very obvious one.
Yeah.
And we felt justified in it too. Like, yeah, fuck the French. He's a freedom fries now. Like, they're really hurting because you call it that?
Right.
Shut up, man.
That's so funny. As soon as I read that, and you brought, I was about to bring that up. I knew exactly what you were saying. If someone was like, yeah, that never happened. If you guys were like, no, that's not a thing, I would have believed you.
Yeah.
Because that's how just like, oh, what's the
It was how ridiculous it was,
Yeah.
but it was short-lived because we as Americans are fucking dumb and we have short attention spans.
For sure.
Do you guys want to hear some fucking dope USA shit?
Yes.
This is
America.
this is the America that I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. So the Cold War was a lot of psychological warfare, right? Like,
Right.
Yep.
They did the whole thing with the shipbuilding and to ruin their economy.
Yeah.
This is one of the best trolls ever. During the Cold War, there was an idea to drop extra large condoms labeled medium onto the Soviets to make them think we were anatomically superior and be more afraid of fighting us.
I want to believe that to be true. I think that's bullshit.
You think? I don't think
I
they
hope to
actually
God
did
it's
it. I believe that's a pretty valid thing.
I
that they
really
might have
wished we would have done that.
That is,
I really wish we would have done that.
So hilarious.
yeah. Jeez.
That would have been amazing.
God, that's so brilliant.
Yeah.
That's somebody looked like they were sitting at the fucking table, like to come up with
Yes.
ideas on how to defeat guys. They're like, oh, I got this idea, guys. They're like, oh, here comes old Johnny with the fucking condoms again. You got a condom solution for everything.
Just imagine if we had thought of that like during World War II, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki could have been completely avoided.
Oh, dude, I
Just drop a couple condoms in there. They're just like,
maybe we don't want this.
Yeah, we're not about this life.
You know what
Wouldn't that
that
be? I'd love to live in a world that's how we solve all conflicts.
Just dick size measuring.
Yeah, just like make them feel inadequate, and then they're like, all right, I guess you're the dominant. You guys win. They concede the war or whatever.
yes.
That has to have been like, I mean, at least in the animal kingdom, like that had to turn like some competitors off,
Right.
right? They're just like, oh, fucking.
Yeah, like why? Like you about to get in a fight with a rival caveman,
Yep.
and you see he's got a fucking tree trunk of a dick, like a third
Right.
leg, and you're like, man, dude, you can have this area. I'll go
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go hunt somewhere else.
Yeah, you and Mule
So then,
can have.
so
Yeah.
he's saying like you would solve combat by like sword fighting. Is that?
No.
Because like if
Possibly,
you
but
know,
you would, you see, if you got a dagger and somebody comes with that fucking
right, like a
the
fucking Claymore.
yeah, Jesus
That's
Christ,
the big.
fucking nerds.
nerds.
I was
Hey,
thinking about
I've seen Braveheart.
what's
I'm
the guy
proud
that
of
pulls the sword out of the rock?
Excalibur.
Yeah, he
Oh.
comes through an Excalibur, and you got a little fucking dagger. You're like, I don't want a sword fight
You know
today.
what,
man?
But you know what? This land is your land.
Yeah, but then now two
Let's
fucking
have a race.
This land
Excaliburs.
is mine.
But then now two guys with just fucking
Yeah,
Excaliburs.
two jousts.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Joust it, baby.
That'll be the title of my sex
But
tape, I think.
Yeah,
Joust it.
like male jousting.
Yeah.
That needs to be the name
That
of
sounds
the
like
next album.
a great
Joust
gay
it.
porn.
Male jousting.
Just joust it.
Male jousting is gonna be.
That's a great gay porn, dude. Like, they ride on like two dudes are riding on like rolling chairs, and fully erect, and you
Perfect.
try to joust each other in the mouth.
I think it would have to be segways to go.
Segways.
Yeah, to go hit first. Or
Yeah.
no,
No,
no, not
the
segways.
Segway
Those
would
little
get in the way.
Yeah, the little hoverboards.
the hoverboards.
The
Yes.
hoverboards and like
Papa Cialis,
yeah,
And
and
just-
joust.
and then go full on.
That would. That would be like the thing with the T-Rex on the hoverboard. That's what that reminds me
yeah.
of.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither.
The blow
but-
up character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that would be. Yeah. That needs to happen.
Joust.
Yeah.
Dude, done.
Any producers out there? You have free licensing. Make it happen.
Dear
Tag us
RedTube,
at Between Two Geese.
between two jousts.
I think that about covers the Ask Reddit thing. Well, oh, actually no, this one seems. All right, hang on. I haven't read this.
That one seems very lengthy.
It is lengthy, but I want to say it's.
It was the Sparks Notes.
I'll read it out in my storybook voice. I'm just kidding. In 1904, in the 1904 Olympic Marathon in St. Louis, the number one finisher drove most of the race. Oh shit! What just happened? In 1904 Olympic Marathon in St. Louis, the number one finisher drove most of the race. He started the race.
By finisher, we're not talking about jousting anymore, right?
No, we're definitely
It's
not.
just finishing the
He
race.
started the race, got tired and heat exhausted, and wanted to drop out. He got in a car to DQ himself and head back to the stadium, but along the way realized he was near the finish line and got out to claim the glory. The number two finisher was carried across the finish line by his trainers on a bogus pseudoscience theory. The trainers had been giving him a mixture of brandy, egg whites, and rat poison instead of water.
What?
When it came out that the number one finisher had driven most of the course, this guy was given the gold despite the help from his trainers to finish. For some reason, the number three finisher was just a regular guy who did nothing unusual. In this case, the ordinary was extraordinary. The number four finisher was a Cuban mailman who had raised the money to attend the Olympics by running around his entire country and asking for donations. When he landed in New Orleans, he lost all the money gambling. He managed to scrounge enough to get to St. Louis and attend the Olympics. However, he had no money for athletic gear, so he ran dressed in shoes and pants, hacked off at the knee by a fellow racer who happened to have a knife. This is crazy. He probably would have come in first had it not been for the hour-long nap he took on the side of the road after eating rotten apples he found in an orchard near the course. This is fucking crazy.
What?
Yeah. Numbers 9 and 12 finishers were from South Africa and ran barefoot. South Africa didn't send a delegation. These were students who just happened to be in town and thought it sounded fun. Number 9 was chased a mile off course by angry dogs. Half the participants never raced competitively before. Some died. St. Louis only coupled with the dusty road, only had one water stop the entire run. This coupled with a dusty road, exacerbated by the cars kicking up dust, led to several fatalities. The Russian delegation arrived a week late because they were still using the Julian calendar until 1918. While effectively the rest of the world had switched to the Gregorian calendar.
What?
Holy shit, that's amazing.
That sounds ridiculous.
That's so
What year
many.
was this?
1904.
God, man. It sounds prehistoric, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's insane. Like, can you just imagine that now? Like, hey, drink these egg whites, rat poison real quick, and we'll carry you.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Or like getting in a car and then just driving to like.
Well,
How does he process him winning? Like getting, I guess
He's like,
he
oh
has
shit,
heat
get me out of
exhaustion.
this Uber. His finish
Yeah.
line's right there.
Well, he said it. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm too exhausted to finish the race." So he's like, "I'm just gonna get in the car and leave." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm kind of about the finish line." So he gets out. And he's like, "Ugh."
That's how I want to run marathons.
Yeah.
Same. I want to run marathons, but I don't want to run marathons.
Me too.
Yeah.
Fuck a marathon.
That
Some of us just yell at old ladies like he did.
Yeah.
Did you?
He yelled at
it took me. I realized it took me about just 10 miles to snap at people that are just trying to be encouraging on the sidelines.
Yeah, you ruined
So-
something like old ladies' Christmas, man. It's right
Yeah,
before Christmas,
Thanksgiving.
for
Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember you telling
Yeah,
me that.
yeah.
You did that. I was like, "Why would you
Use
do
the
that?"
bathroom.
Yeah, and
I gotta get going. Meet my brother for open mat. See?
Oh,
Oh, so
That's-
we'll solve this
that's
up. I
gay.
guess. What? Open mat? Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's right. You are going.
all right. Well then, real quick. All right, it's gotta happen.
What?
Gotta get your reactions to this thing.
Do it. Pull it up.
It's weird as fuck. You guys might have seen it.
You already have it queued up?
Yeah,
Oh,
9-year-old video. There's really no way to explain this.
okay. Don't hug me. I'm scared.
Yep. Yeah. So, this is a video from like 9 years ago on YouTube,
Is the volume up pretty high?
if you want it to be. Last one. This video, 9 years old. There's really no words to explain it.
Wait, why do you keep saying 9 years old? What's that? Is there a
It's-
reference to that?
No,
says
it's
8 years,
just
so-
8 years. All right, whatever. It's an older video on YouTube. This was a big thing for a while, at least like when I was in
I
middle
almost
school.
expect to keep seeing you in it. Like, Go tell you guys, it's 9 years ago. Don't judge me.
I'm not in
That's why I
this.
kept thinking
No.
they were doing that. Okay.
I have no part in this.
Get creative.
Let's get creative.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get the idea?
I just try to think creatively. Now when you look
Neither
at
of you
this
have seen this?
orange, tell me please,
No.
what do you see?
Okay.
It's just a boring old orange.
Maybe to you, but not to me. I see a silly face, walking along and smiling at me.
I don't see what you mean.
Cause you're not thinking creatively. So take a look at my hair. I use my hair to express myself.
That sounds really boring.
I use my hair to express myself. Now, when you stare at the clouds in the sky, don't you find it exciting? Come on, take another look.
I can see a hat. I can see a cat. I can see a man with a baseball bat. I can see a dog. I can see a frog. I can see a ladder leaning on a log.
Think you're getting the hang of it now, using your minds to have a good time.
I might paint a picture of a clown.
Oh, there, friend, you might need to slow down.
What?
Here's another good
What just happened?
Be a creative wicked. Go and collect some leaves and sticks and arrange them into your favorite color.
Blue. Green.
Green is not a creative color.
What?
You need to know before you let your creativity flow. Listen to your heart, listen to the rain, listen to the voices in your brain. Come on, guys, let's get creative.
Is it throwing shade at some of these characters?
Get creative.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Dude, what the fuck just happened?
I love shit like this, dude. It's just like at first I thought it was just like, oh, look how weird the 2010s were,
Nope.
and then it
Nope.
was like, oh, look how weird the 2010s were. That's
Yeah,
so good.
I wish it would have got darker longer. Like
It-
they're
yeah.
eating brains and shit.
That's
They-
what I liked about it is like it waited to like the payoff I think was good. It kind of took you to it and like, all right, like
Yeah.
what's happening? And then it was like the black paint. I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the green is the color, and then everything started going to shit immediately. Oh god, that's
Yeah.
so funny to me.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a huge thing, like back in like middle school, like everybody would show that to each other. They've made like 6 or 7 of them since. but
Really?
That was the original one.
I thought it was gonna end up on like some Homestar Runner shit, but
No.
that's exactly what I'm glad that happened.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys hadn't seen it. It has like probably like 60 million views on YouTube.
Like, that kind of surrealist humor for some
Oh, yeah.
reason just gets like this. I just saw this today, and I don't know why it's. So, if you have to explain it, it's not funny.
But yeah, I just love how it just completely like as soon as it spins, shit gets weird.
dark quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
how
know,
it
like-
like ended up becoming like people in the costumes instead of puppets.
Yes. Yeah, and then they're like rolling the heart and glitter.
Yeah, that was so funny. They pulled out the cake and it was brains
Yeah.
or something. Oh god, that's funny shit.
But yeah, there you go. It's your
That's
weird-
our episode.
There he goes.
Oh.
Ladies and gents.
Between two geese and between two G's, my gay.
My G's in the geese.